we just have a little chat about the common mistakes that you're very aware that a lot of people make in completing their CAO? And I know in our questions, we have lots of these questions I can see coming in, but let's just talk initially about the common mistakes that we're aware of that happen each year and that CAO try to deal with each year.
Okay, well, the first thing is applying to the CAO is the easiest thing in the world, because all you really need to know when you apply is who you are, where you live, what your phone number is and what your mobile number is, and that you have a credit card handy for 30 euros. And when you've that done, basically you're in and you have a number. Now, theoretically, with that number, you could sit back and wait till, 4 o'clock on the 1st of July and put in a list of courses. In theory, nobody does, but in theory you could. Because effectively, between now and the 1st of July is the time in which you process everything. And you have up to the 1st of July, which is about a week after you finish your leaving cert, to actually finalize that list in terms of what's one, what's two. So even though you can put in a course list now, it's not locked into, cement. It's not. It's the difference between going on a date and getting married. You know what I mean? One is very temporary and one can be very permanent. But I mean, so your first list is your date. In other words, you can put down what you think you might, but you don't need to get anxious or stressed about it, because you can change the thing 1,000 times over in May and June. So that's the first thing. The most important thing now is, once you get your number, are you applying to here? Are you applying to dare? Or are you applying to Susie? Or are you a mature applicant and you need to put down the reasons why you think you're the right person to get an offer of a course? If you're a mature person, you must apply by the 1st of February, and you get until the 1st of March to fill in all those details, making your case for yourself. Once you're over 23 years of age, by the 1st of January of the year of entry, which is this year, right? On the other hand, if you are under 23 years of age and you're competing on the basis of CAO points, you may be applying to here or dare. Here is obviously for those students who have an economic disadvantage, and there is a set of criteria which you can look at, linked from the CAO website, or accesscolleges.ie directly if you want to go to their website, and it'll show you whether you're likely to qualify for here. You then have dare, which is a list of disabilities, which effectively you can qualify again for dare. Some students qualify for both here and dare. Okay. These are places that are reserved. So say there's 100 places on a course. They may put aside 4 places for here or 4 places for dare, right? There will be an internal competition for those 8 places once the colleges assess your application for here or dare. You have to fill in the online section of the CAO application for both here and dare by the 1st of March. And you must post to the CAO, and it must arrive by the 15th of March, any paper backup documentation. So in the case of dare, it's the psychologist's report or the doctor's report or the consultant's report, etc. In the case of here, it may be information relating to your family's status, medical card, all that sort of information, whatever. That has to go to the CAO office in Galway, and in an envelope, a physical envelope, it's got to be there by the 15th of March. And these are the things you need to focus on if you are applying for here or dare. On the other hand, if you are simply going to apply for a grant, if you tick the Susie box on the CAO, then the CAO will get that data about you from the CAO, that Susie will, and you don't have to give it to Susie again. So basically it saves you trouble in giving Susie stuff that you've already given to the CAO. After that, you sit back. If you are going to go for a course where you have to perform as part of the application process, singing or dancing or whatever it is, portfolio can be an art portfolio or an interior design, it can be anything. But if there's a component in the assessment, which effectively means that there's more than the leaving cert being considered, you have to list that course by the 1st of February. If you forget one, you can add it in the month of February. It's going to cost you an extra tenner, but you can add it in. Once March comes, you cannot add any further restricted courses. Okay. After that, 1st of May or 5th of May, the CAO opens up again. It stays open until the 1st of July. And by 5 o'clock, it used to be 5:15 my entire life, but now for some reason they've decided to go home 15 minutes early this year. So it's 5 o'clock on all of their application dates. I wonder why the 5:15 deadline was there. It's very curious. But anyway, it's 5 o'clock on the button this year. And but, you know, effectively, by the 1st of July at 5 o'clock, you have to finalize those choices. And every single year, most Leaving Cert students will amend their choices at some stage in May and June. They might put one course higher up than they had it, or they might add a new course they hadn't heard about in February. That's all fine. The one thing I would say that people came a cropper last year is the CAO used to send out a letter in May to students with the details of what was on their record. And of course, most of the time it wasn't the student that was opening this letter, it was Mammy. Because when she saw it fall on the mat, she opened it up and she made damn sure that the son or daughter checked it out to make sure that all the information was accurate. Those letters are no longer going. The information is going directly onto the student's correspondence file on the CAO. And if you put in a tick on your initial application, it'll go as a text message to the student's mobile phone. Mammy's not aware of it anymore because it's bypassing Mammy. But the problem is, if the student isn't looking at their correspondence file on the CAO record and they're not responding to text messages, if the CAO says, we don't have an exam number from you, something went wrong, Coileadh East gone, was it Coileadh East gone or Coileadh Own here in Dublin last year? There was a mix-up in terms of some of the names of the students submitted to the State Exams Commission were as Gaeilge, and yet their applications to the CAO from themselves was in English, and the names weren't matched up. The CAO were sending emails to these people on their record. They weren't responding, and then the day of the CAO offers came, and all these students got no courses, and then all hell breaks loose because effectively. And everyone's saying, well, you should have been looking at your record. So what I'm saying to parents and to students now is there won't be any more envelopes coming through the letterbox if you have had older sons and daughters. It'll all be going electronically, either onto the text message on your son or daughter's phone or to their record. Now, how many students check the correspondence section of their CAO files during the summer? I mean, let's be real. But the truth of the matter is the CAO is saying, please do. Because if we have a problem, that's where we're going to go with our question. And if you don't answer it, you're not getting an offer. So it's something that people need to be mindful of because of the fact that the letters are no longer going out.
I think that's really important, Brian. And I think when people also, I think the generation we're talking about, Brian, sometimes do not do text message either. Yeah. And on the CAO, it says to tick the box for text message, yeah. But I think they're an age group that don't maybe look at text either. Yeah. So
they should tick the box for text messages. And if they get one from the CAO, make damn sure you respond to it. Because if you don't, you're not getting an offer because they're missing some vital piece of information. Right. Otherwise, they wouldn't have written to you in the first place.
Yeah, and I suppose maybe also, Brian, there's a note to make there that they didn't realise the importance of Mammy opening that envelope.
Of course they didn't. Of course they didn't.